Okay, are you back? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? So you're on mute.
I'm unmuted.
Okay, I can hear you fine.
Why can't
So is the volume up on your
Let me try
computer?
Put in headphones. Will that make a difference?
Okay, can you say something?
Test, test, test.
No. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Want to log off and try again?
All right, I'm going to try one more thing.
So Marie's still having trouble.
Can she hear us now?
No, so Marie is still having difficulty with her sound. We can hear her fine.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hey, hello, how we doing?
All right,
Mar-
how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Marie's been having some problems with her audio, so she's trying to get that squared away. Good evening. Marie's just having a little difficulty with her audio, so she's trying to get that squared away on her end.
And Janice just emailed that she's having trouble getting in to the meeting.
Yeah, she's trying to use the link that was on the website, like in the agenda. That wasn't working for me. That's not the same meeting number as what we have in the emails that we got from Sherry. So have her click on that link if she can.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
We can. Can you hear us?
Oh my gosh, okay. Yes, so now.
Uh-oh.
My work computer, let me leave. Hopefully I can leave without, maybe not. All right, you know, just leave. I'm just gonna operate with two laptops there. Okay then, so I guess we're still waiting. I know Lorna is gonna be a few minutes late. Wonder if I'm having connectivity issues here tonight, and if that's what it is.
Could be.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I just kind of want to wait to see if Janice, so she can do the minutes. Let's see. No, but she needs. Sent. This evening. There we go.
Yay.
There
Thank
we
you.
go. Thank you. I feel like the others, can everybody hear and see? There we go. Everybody was frozen for a minute. Tonight is just going to be a crazy night. Just try to get through this as quickly as possible, I guess is, all right. Okay, today is Monday, November 7th at 7:08 p.m., 7:09, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. Okay, so it looks like missing right now is Lois and Levon. Just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded. At least I think it is. Let's put on the live transcript. Okay. Okay, seeing two screens. That's just the weirdest thing. Okay. We were actually supposed to have Chris Carino from Albion Cultural Exchange join us tonight, but I don't see him. Let me just, so we'll start, and then if he joins, want to do the pledge? No flag today, so I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Okay, Bill, why don't you go ahead so that you don't have to hang with us all night if you don't want to.
Marie, you're in the meeting twice, and that might be giving some feedback.
Okay. My concern is if I try to log off here, I'm gonna log us out of this meeting. Let's
Oh,
see.
then don't do that. We can deal with the echo.
Is that what you're hearing?
Just a little bit.
And I am muted. I know, I don't know how to leave the meeting. I don't have any voice on my home computer for some reason. I can't hear you folks when I'm on that.
I'd say just keep going, Marie. Just leave it.
Okay. All right. And let me pull up the agenda and we'll be quick. All right, Bill, do you want to give an update? The three questions that I have for you is on the last call, we had somebody write in at Hart's Hill regarding ramps. And I know you were working that. And then the handicap parking spot on Chestnut Street. And then the swing. Okay, you're on mute.
There we go. Thank you. Technology is great,
There
right?
you go.
There we go. So Hart's Hill.
When it works.
When it works, right? So Hart's Hill, that is still ongoing with the housing authority. We've obtained a price for the ramp to be installed, but that's higher than what they're allowed to spend without a capital approval from their board. So that's gone to the board as of last month, a month and a half ago. I can follow back up on that for a status, but they're intending to install the ramp for the resident, and it would be something that would be probably close to $35,000, somewhere in that range, 30 to 35. So that's why it's delayed, but it is in the works.
So it's not, it is going to be approved. It's just a
It
time
is, yeah,
thing.
yeah, yep. They just need to get the funding, because they're not authorized to spend up to that level without everybody being involved on that board. So Chestnut Street, that was approved at the TAC about 2 weeks ago. So that is in the queue and will be installed. So thanks for all the help on that. And then the last one was the swing.
Well, thank you.
Oh, no problem. So the swing, we were talking about, well, there's a couple of different items on this. So we do have handicap swings on all of our play sets to some degree. That's not the ones that you can wheel onto. So you have to be physically put into the swing. So we've looked at installation on Walden, which is the Walton School, which is the new one that we're going to be doing. And so there's about a 30 by 30 foot footprint to be able to make that work. And typically what you would want to have is the material below to be rubber rather than the wood chips that we have on most of our playgrounds. So the council at this point is not moving forward, I don't believe, on the playgrounds. They're going to continue to kind of use it through the capital fund as we've been doing it. So you know, kind of what I reported to you before, not knowing where that came from, it doesn't look like the council is moving forward with that at this point. So they've pared down to a handful of projects, some sidewalk extensions, or at least this is what Steve's recommending, because that's what all the councilors have agreed on. So sidewalk extensions, which would have some ADA accommodations with that. We have some design work for the rail to trail, and they'll be funding that with it. They're looking to fund some, I believe, a heating oil, you know, subsidy for folks that, you know, with the additional
I saw
cost this
that.
year. Yeah, and then the last one was, I'm trying to remember what the last project was. It was one of mine too, I believe. Oh, lake improvements at North Ave. So they're looking to do a bathroom for Bettsfield, as well as redoing that parking lot to improve lake water quality for the discharges that go there. So I'll be doing all of that work. So it looks at this point, they're just going to continue the plan where they do about one playground a year, and that would be incorporated into the capital budget. So they'll do Walden, that's part of our fiscal 23 budget, and then fiscal 24 would have another playground to be repaired. So I did include costs to them, looking at making all of the playgrounds accessible. Not only just including the swing that needs that 30 by 30 area, but also in making all the playgrounds that rubberized material that you can actually wheel onto. So that was in access points as well for some of them that we were talking about. So I didn't have to fund that through my sidewalk budget, but they basically at this point saw the cost of all of that, and they'd rather just do it kind of more methodically within the capital plan as opposed to just influxing a ton of money on it right now. So that's the update on swings.
Can I just double check and make sure I was understanding everything? It's the town council that's not moving forward. And you're talking about with the ARPA money?
The ARPA funds, yeah. So at this
Okay.
point, it's moved to a, instead of, I mean, this still has to be voted by them. They may change their mind again, but at this point, what Steve's recommending and working with the counselors and you know, what they've all, you know, had consensus on is to move forward with those projects. So I think that's what's going to happen, at least in this first phase. And then they will have a second phase of ARPA funds, but they're going to hold off on that just to see, you know, if there's another need that comes up over the next year or so that they want to apply some of that money towards. So that's
So they're
the
going to
plan.
use they're going to put things in capital budget and just move forward slowly.
Yep.
And you talked about the Walton School. Is
Yeah,
that
Walton is
surface is still, is that surface still there that we put in whatever, many years ago? That had a solid surface.
They would have had a solid surface. So yep, that's still there. I think they're gonna,
Okay.
but the plan is that they would replace that, I believe, as part of this project. So the quote that I saw included it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just
So,
wanted to clarify.
Go ahead, Judy.
Bill, we had been talking about the entries to the two playgrounds. So
Yep.
is that also on hold, or is that something that's
No.
still possible?
Oh, it's definitely possible. We're going to move forward with it regardless. So, you know, I included it in my pricing to the council so that they understood what that would basically try to do all the playgrounds as one big lump if they were going to be replaced, and to include the, you know, that rubberized coating stuff around the base. So we're still going to move forward within my sidewalk budget to get those projects done. And we'll do that as a spring, you know, it'll be on the street over the winter for bidding, and then construction sometime spring, summer next year. So that is happening.
Could you say which playgrounds those are, the two entries?
Yep, JJ Round and Maple Way.
Thank you
All right.
so much for all your advocacy for that project. Really appreciate
Oh,
it.
no problem. Yeah, no, it's good. I think it makes a ton of sense. So I like it when the projects make sense when I look at them too. So that helps.
So that will happen in the spring.
Yeah.
The entryways. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
So now just to circle back on the swing thing, at the last
Yep.
meeting, there was some discrepancy as to what the cost of it would be.
Mhm.
And so it sounds, what I think I hear you saying is that the swing and cost that we've been seeing is the difference between a swing that you wheel up to and get
Yeah.
yourself on, which must be the most expensive one, versus
Yep.
the swing that's there that somebody puts the individual on.
You got it. Yeah. So most of the playgrounds have the other type where you put the individual on it. Those are most of our playgrounds have that already as a retrofit. So,
Okay.
we are including that in the new playground. But if the intent here is to have one of the roll ups that you can just mount yourself onto, that's something that we can look to include in the next round of capital, like we were talking about. So this is what we were talking about earlier in the year. So we just that's what we would look to do if that's what the commission's preference is.
That's called a platform swing, right? Is what you're
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
about, where the entire chair
Yep.
could
Exactly.
roll up and
Yep.
the whole chair would swing on the platform. Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
that's usually a freestanding structure that's
It is.
just that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's where I was talking about that 30 by 30 area, because that's the dimensions that you would need. So it's a sizable area. I
Mhm.
mean, if you think about 30 feet by 30 feet, that's awfully big. So, but I mean, it does make sense to have them somewhere. So, that's definitely something we can include in our next rounds of playgrounds.
And do you think that that's what Lois and Dan have been advocating for? It's that type of swing that they've been advocating for?
I'm not sure, because they had said that they included it in a couple of spots. So, I mean, we've been putting the other type at all of our playgrounds. So if that's what they're looking for, we've already accommodated that request. So I would need a little bit of guidance from them. If you want to maybe hit me back in an email just to let me know if there's anything different. But if
Pretty
it's the
sure
30
that
by
it was
30,
the one
they're looking to do.
that you rolled onto the swing that
Okay.
Dan and Lois were talking about, because they were talking about accommodating the wheelchair.
Okay, fair enough. So what I'll do is within next year's budget, I'll incorporate that as a, as an add-on to one of the playgrounds. If there's a preference, I'm happy to do that playground. So I just need to know which one that they're thinking.
And you're saying that the town of Wakefield is potentially moving forward on putting solid surfaces in every single playground?
But I think if we're gonna do this, you have to have the solid surface for that swing. So I would do
Yeah.
it there for sure, but I included pricing to
Good.
them to say if we want to make these all accessible, because that was kind of they
Right.
threw a broad brush at me. So I gave them the numbers for all of it. And
Right,
I'm sure that
good.
they had a mini heart attack looking at how expensive those
Mhm.
those rubberized areas are. But,
2.5 years of fundraising to put that surface in at Walton School.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
they're
was a long
definitely
time.
good stuff.
But that's what they
definitely
have in
good
the city of New York for probably more than 25 years. They've had solid surfaces on every playground. As people will say that the wood chips, they meld together and then they're accessible. They're
No,
not.
not at all. I
They never
definitely
are.
agree with you. Yeah,
And then
I totally
they're
agree.
moved within about 15 minutes of the kids playing on the playground. There's no wood chips under the swing and there's no wood
Yeah.
chips at the bottom of the slide
Yeah.
because they move.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is great that they were going to put in from an injury perspective as well, because this kind of surfacing that they put in is playground specific surfacing.
Yeah.
And this is not an image that technically speaking, a kid could be dropped on their head and hit the surface, and it's supposed to prevent a concussion from happening. That's how it is ASTM testing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about that, but that sounds.
we
yeah,
don't want to ever do that, but
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
that's how they test it with a head form to
Sure.
see if it causes a concussion, like they test with seatbelts and stuff like that.
Well, they do the
So,
same for in the turf fields too. They do the same thing.
it's gonna save a potential lot of injuries with other body parts as well so great. That's
Yeah, so
incredibly
all the
great
new
news.
ones, yeah, so as we put them in, they would be included. And then what I would do, any retrofits that we would do to add this swing, if there's a specific, spot, whether it's up at the head of the lake, at Gertrude Spalding or at at the lower common. And that's whichever one's the preference, we can look to do essentially a path that would get to it and then the swing that you could roll onto. So
I think probably whatever makes the most sense with the 30 by 30 foot footprint.
Okay.
It's, because if one of them, it would mean putting the swing like far away from the playground, and another one, it could be more incorporated into the playground. I
Yep.
think that's like a judgment call on, behalf of
Well,
the.
I'm happy to look. I'm happy to look
Yeah.
at them and make a recommendation.
Well,
I
that's
know the
really,
city
really
of
great.
the city of Medford is doing some work just to try to make their adaptive playgrounds so that everybody can access them, so that it's not like, oh, this is where the people who are in wheelchairs can go,
Yep.
and oh,
Mhm.
this is where the people who aren't in wheelchairs can go. And I think there's somebody specifically who's heading that up. I could at least just send you their contact information. I don't know if it would be helpful or not, but I could send that
Sure.
to you.
Yeah, definitely forward it along. I mean, we have ground mountable items within the new playground. So there is some of that and with the rubberized material, you can wheel around everywhere. So I think it's a positive. So, it's just trying to find the space for that size unit. I mean, if you think about how big 30 by 30 is, I mean, whatever room you're sitting in, it's probably this, it's bigger than that. So, when you try to come up with that type of space to create this, it can be challenging for sure. So.
Does anybody have anything else for Bill? Okay, if not, Bill, thank you. We very
No
much
problem.
appreciate your time.
Anytime. And if you have any other items that come to mind for the meeting, please don't hesitate to give me an email or a call.
Okay, we'll definitely
No,
do
we
that.
won't hesitate.
Thank you. That's good.
Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great night. Good night. Good night,
You
folks.
too. Good night. All right, let's jump back and just do the approval of the September and October minutes. Would somebody better make a motion to approve those, please? Thank you, Kristen. I saw your hand. Thank you. And second? Thanks, Paula. Okay. Let's see, Chris is still not here. Okay, Town Day and Wakefield 101. I know Lorna and I were there at Town Day, Lorna more than I. And I know we had one individual that approached the table, and then I don't know, I'm curious to hear how things went for Town Day. Janice, I think you were there, and who else? Paula?
Lorna,
Wait,
or you mean for
Lorna.
Wakefield 101?
Wakefield 101, yeah.
Yeah. Lorna was there and I was there. It was really well attended, I think, Lorna, don't you? It was pretty crowded at one point in time. There were just a lot of
Yeah.
people.
It was very well attended.
So I think that they hadn't done this for a couple of years, apparently. So I don't know if they reached back and reached out to people that had moved in
Right,
over the
since
past several years, because they hadn't had this, but they had kind of like everyone from Wakefield. We shared a table with the senior center and the veteran services
Veterans.
officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which was great, because it kind of like, it was interesting to hear the conversations with the veterans that were happening, and a bunch of people came to the table. And with Lorna, what were you saying, that you had to read a book if they took a bookmark to the kids? I think you which was,
Bookmark only worked unless you were,
it only worked.
read
if
a book for the
you read a
bookmark to
book.
work.
The
So
kids just
funny.
kind of looked, and it was just so they were a little perplexed, but they all assured Lorna that they would read a book if they
They
took
were
a
going to
book.
read, good.
So there were a bunch of different people
There
that
you go.
that came and came over to the table, and there were a few questions that happened, but I think that I don't think it's necessarily the table that everybody would have questions about, like, you know, the library that likely every single person will be using. But it was interesting. We were right next to the Human Rights Commission. So we were like right in the right space. It was good. It was a great thing they were doing. People seemed really happy. All the new people coming to Wakefield looked really happy. They didn't seem grumpy that, you know, they didn't appear to think that they'd made a bad decision, having moved to Wakefield. So, which was good, you know, so it was, I thought it went very well. It was worthwhile being there.
Yeah, I don't know how often they run it
Yeah, and
prior to the pandemic, how often they ran, and whether it was just once a year, whether it was every 6 months, I have no idea.
I don't recall either. Well, that's good. I think those were two good locations for us to be present, even if we didn't get a lot of activity. I know Lorna and I had an opportunity to talk to Mike McLean on Town Day because he was going to be manning the town council table. So yeah, it was just a good opportunity to see.
Had a lot of people stop at the table on Town
and
Day.
network a little bit.
One little girl, she must have been maybe middle school age, 4th or 5th grade, somewhere around there. So she wanted to know what the word commission meant. So kind of, you know, told her that it was basically a group of people, like a committee, and that we try to make sure that the town is living up to what it should be doing for people with disabilities, and da 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 da. She looked at me and she goes, "How can I help?" Except she lived in Stoneham.
We
I said,
voted
but
for
you can
that girl
contact
someday.
the commission in your town and see what you can do to help out. I just
That's
thought it was
so
just
sweet.
really precious, just very precious.
Well, there you go. So we need, and speaking of that, have we had any luck with the, I think we have it, Youth Council?
Never heard back,
No.
as usual.
Well, we'll just keep trying. What else can we do at this point? Okay, so moving down the list, we have a meeting set up with the Rotary for Tuesday, November 22nd. That's the day that's working best for the Rotary. I reached out to Triangle. You know, they seem very receptive to doing this. I've been talking with a Terry Holmgren. And he was going to reach out to his team to make sure that that date worked for them. And I something this evening and asked him to please confirm that. But right now I've got that date and the time. It starts until like 1:30. I've got that blocked off on my work calendar, so I'll be able to go there, but anybody is welcome. So once I confirm that, I'll give you the details, as well as the Rotary has asked them to give like a little summary, a synopsis of what it's about. So I've asked him for that as well.
What is the date anyhow?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what I asked her. What did we say? I think it was like January.
Marie, I'm not hearing you very well.
Meeting is I think it's Monday, January 9th. On Monday, January 9th.
Mhm.
That's the date of our January meeting.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I completely missed what you were talking about and why you were talking about that date.
Okay, so I was asking about the date of the Rotary presentation.
Oh, so that's not the meeting on the 22nd? What's the meeting?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. That's going to be November 22nd is the Rotary, is the presentation by Triangle to the Rotary.
Okay. Then what's January 9th?
That will be when Linda from Mass Rehab will be coming to our meeting on January 9th to
Got
give
it.
a presentation about, Mass Rehab and their services. And I think
Perfect.
that's one that we should publicize, probably starting in December, right? So that people in the public who may be interested, we could put it out on on our website. Page accounts, just to get that out so that people from town who might be interested in learning about Mass Rehab can be
Sorry, I might have missed some of that, Marie.
present for that.
I think she said that on Monday, January 9th, at our regular meeting, does Linda have a last name that I should put in the minutes? Linda from Mass Rehab is going to present to us at our meeting, but we can publicize that to invite other people from the community to also attend the meeting, because it might be of interest to them to learn about what Mass Rehab does. So putting it on our website, maybe we can do a quick article for the item, and then get information through the SPED office and things like that. So I don't know how to get the word out. Is there a parent group that has a
Special ed,
yeah? Does Wakefield have a parent?
They have a
you know,
CPAC.
That's the
So,
word that I was
yeah.
looking for. Yes.
yep, so the PAC. Yeah,
Maybe we can brainstorm in December where we should get the word out to, and folks can help with that and split that up. Maria, I think you froze. At least she did with me. Did that happen with anybody else? Okay.
Yeah.
I think she must have dropped off.
There's
Let's
one
see if
that
she
dropped
comes
off.
back.
Yeah,
Comes back on.
we can wait.
Hello.
hello. Yeah, having technical difficulties today. All right, let's keep, any other questions in regard to that? Okay, so the next item I've mentioned to you before, Kathy Boyle, Autism Housing Pathways. She has started a 6-week class, I guess, for lack of a better word, on housing, different types of housing. And I signed up and started it this past Saturday. So I'm not able to share any of the documentation that she provides us, but I certainly can summarize that information, especially that which I think would be pertinent to us. Email and any type of websites that she can, we will be able to post on our website if that's what we would like to do. Did you hear all that?
Not really, Marie. Did you say that we can post the information on our website or we cannot?
Any websites or things like that that she provides us, we'll be able to post. Right, and then Lorna already gave that she hasn't been successful in reaching anybody to get a member from the youth council. We can continue to try. Does anybody have anything else? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
that
think
we're
the
near-
only other, I'm sorry, go ahead, Janice.
I was gonna say, I think that I think we distributed most of the bookmarks. Do you want me to make some more?
Trying to think, when would our next event be?
I don't know.
Would we want to bring them to the Rotary thing?
It's a good idea.
Yeah, just to take.
That sounds,
to take
that sounds
some.
like something they would enjoy having, sure.
Yeah, all right, so.
Their door prize.
Yeah, Lorna, you're gonna be there, so you can say your spiel about the reading in the book before we hand out marked anyway.
They only
I don't wanna
work
take your
when
line.
you read a book.
There you go. And so I think at our last meeting, and Judy had mentioned this, that, you know, if we're gonna do housing, that we can get our arms around. And so let's kind of maybe think about that for the next meeting. And in the meantime, I'll, you know, try to summarize some of the information. I'll have gone to, I think, 2 classes on housing at that point. One point of interest that Kathy did mention is that not each housing authority offers the same. And so I'll get on to the Wakefield Housing Authority to see, I don't know if I have any, to see if they offer any specifics about the services that they provide. But I know she talked about the different vouchers. And you know, depending on whether you're going to have a housing voucher that moves with you, or a housing voucher that's just specific for that residence building. And the different, the different lists that you have to get yourself on, and the fact that you have to, you know, at the end of every year, you know, you just don't put your name in a list and then wait for 4 years. Every year you need to keep going back to the list and re-adding your name or something like that. Correct, Paula? Is that your understanding?
It varies based on everybody's list. Some people
All right,
want you to
so-
add your name every year, and some people don't. Like the federal list, once you're on it, you just gotta wait. It's usually the state list is the same, but the town list, some of the towns, they do want you to renew kind of every year, but often they'll send you like a card in the mail that says like, you still want to be on the list. I know a lot of towns do that. And I'm pretty sure that the Wakefield Housing Authority, that their website has the various kinds of housing that they have, from like the congregate housing at like the Lincoln School to some of the different vouchers to Hearts Hill. So I think it's pretty well spelled out if I remember correctly.
Okay. I know that another thing that Kathy mentioned, you know, when I brought up to her the fact that there was, you know, potentially a group of families that would be interested in purchasing a home building, to, you know, 5 or 6 to have their loved ones in, and she kind of shook her head and she said, I don't want to discourage you, but she said DDS really frowns upon more than 4 living together. You can't have houses one next door to each other. She said there's a lot of restrictions, that there are a lot of restrictions is how they will support you, which I find was very interesting. And that's probably more specific to, you know, my guy, you know, somebody who has an intellectual disability. But she talked to me about, you know, priority, that, you know, those and outs, but to the extent that we can information to the larger all right, does anybody have anything else? Okay, if not, it is 7:46. Does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Paula. And somebody to second that, please?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Lorna. Thank you. I apologize for the technical issues. I have no idea what's going on, but hopefully better for the next time. Maybe I'll just call in on my work computer the next time and call it a day, because I know that one works. All right, well, good night all, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.